I spent the last 2 weeks learning how to create videos. And this is my very first video. Today I'm going to show you exactly how I learned to make this video that you're watching right now. My name is Corey, and I'm an entrepreneur in the B2B content creation space. Up until now, all the content we've created at my companies have been written word format, basically blog posts on websites. Now, I've been building content-centric businesses like this for more than 15 years, but we have never created a single video at any of my companies. I've always been interested in the opportunities that live on YouTube, yet here we are with no videos. Excuse after excuse, year after year, I've continued to push YouTube down the road. And let me tell you, it didn't take long at all within this learning process for me to remember why. It is hard. There's a lot that goes into making video for YouTube. There's a bunch of distinct skills that are required. You have the actual content, that's the what, the creative behind the entire end product, the on-camera talent aspect, talking to a camera, articulating your message well, shooting a video, which means understanding at least the basics of all the equipment that goes into shooting, camera, sound, lighting. Then you have video editing, which is a whole big thing, design, photo editing, overall visuals. There's full-blown college courses dedicated to this stuff, whole entire programs dedicated to this stuff. So what makes me think I can just jump right in and just start making videos out of thin air? Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret that I learned a long time ago in the content creation business. All the technical stuff that goes into something like video creation, it seems very overwhelming and difficult to wrap your head around. And it is. But all that stuff is just icing on the cake. It's not the cake. So remember that. It doesn't actually matter how good you are on camera. You don't need a bunch of expensive equipment. Video editing is probably not required at all, let alone at some sort of masterful level. All these things can add up. Definitely, they do help, but that's not what makes a great video. There's just two things that really matter. First of all, the content, the what. If you don't have anything interesting, unique, and valuable to talk about, your video is going to suck. It doesn't matter how good you look, how well you talk, or how fancy your setup is. If your content sucks, your video is going to suck. It's all about the content. Number two, you, the person. People want to hear from real, genuine people with real expertise and experience. That couldn't be more obvious when you just scroll through YouTube and check out what types of channels get a lot of subscribers and views. It's just regular, relatable humans. The most successful YouTube channels are just the name of a person. What's on every thumbnail as you scroll through? A person. Don't sweat it. Don't overthink it. Just get started making your first video and just be yourself. Be genuine. The way I'm talking to you right now is how I'd be talking to anyone in real life in a real conversation, just much more polished. I could have approached this video in 100 different ways, but I decided to do it in the way that just feels natural and makes the most sense to me. I'm not worried about what anyone else thinks about it. While you're making your first videos, learn as you go. Don't worry about knowing everything you need to know before you start making your videos, because you're going to learn through your experience. There are endless free resources to learn how to do anything and everything you could ever need to do when it comes to video creation. I've linked to a bunch of the resources that I use throughout my journey so far in the description, so check those out. You don't even have to publish any of your initial videos. Just get started and focus on learning. I've probably watched 24 different YouTube videos on how to make YouTube videos. Guess what they all have in common? One, the people making them are really good. Two, the people making them all say the same thing. Their first 10 to 20 videos were not good. They were terrible. So I'll tell you what they would tell you. Your first 10 to 20 videos will be terrible. My first 10 to 20 videos, this video, not great. It's okay. Nobody cares. In fact, nobody is probably even going to see it. It takes a lot of time and reps to build up a channel and to start to get views. Time is on your side here. You can take advantage of the lack of views and just work on getting better every day. Just keep shipping videos. That's how you get started. How I learn might not be how you learn. I like to just jump in and learn by doing. Everything I know was learned that way. I can't stand sitting through full-blown courses or classes on things. There's just way too much noise. The reality is that there are thousands of different things you can learn around the topic or subject of video creation, but you only need to know a few things in order to accomplish what you specifically want to accomplish. So for me, I just like to get in, figure out what it is I'm trying to do, then go search how to do that specific thing one piece at a time. Trial by error. As I went through my learning process, I first got a sense of the type of videos I wanted to create. This just came down to scouring YouTube and finding other creators doing stuff that was aligned with what I wanted to do, not specifically in terms of the subject matter, but just more along the lines of the style and approach. Mostly this resulted in taking different pieces from different creators for inspiration. That got me to the point to where I could start searching for more specific pieces of information. If I see somebody doing this specific thing over here or taking this approach over there, I could start to search for how to accomplish that. I just started searching for different topics, watching tons of different YouTube videos. This was a great approach for me because not only can I learn by listening to what these creators are trying to teach, but also just simply by watching what they're doing in their videos, paying attention to all the little details, and then going and figuring out how to accomplish whatever it is I'm finding interesting. For the more technical stuff, like video editing, I figure out exactly what I want to achieve, then I just ask ChatGPT how to do it. This works great. It always results in a step-by-step instruction on how to do it. So for video editing, which is probably the most kind of technical aspect of all of this stuff, I wanted to have a good overview of video editing, so I did what I needed to do to understand it as a whole, but then when it came to the specific tasks, I just take it as I go. There were two channels that I came across and found very helpful. If you're trying to learn this video stuff, you need to go check out both these channels. One, Think Media. Those guys are great. They have tons of videos on how to make videos and all the different pieces that are required to be successful on YouTube. And then the other channel that does similar stuff is Primal Video. Now there's a bunch of other good ones out there, but these are the two that I came across initially, and I didn't really need to go any further. They had everything I needed. Anything you see in this video is something I didn't know how to do just a couple of weeks ago. I just figured it out as I went along, one search at a time. Now, I linked to all the most valuable resources that I've been learning from in the description, so make sure you go check that out. I spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out what kind of setup I needed to create the videos I want to create. I have a pretty long list of things I want to do and stuff I want to buy. I told myself I need to do at least 10 to 20 videos before I can upgrade. The conclusion I came to is that it doesn't really matter that much when you're just getting started. There's a bunch of ways to get going. I already have a very powerful MacBook Pro, an iPad Pro, an iPhone. Those are all tools I can use to make videos. On top of that, I did buy a $300 webcam, $200 lights, and a $150 mic, and a mic arm for $50. For video editing, I decided to go with Final Cut Pro, being a Mac guy, but there's a lot of other options out there for video editing, and many of them are actually free. Take just a little bit of time to figure out your basic setup and just get to creating. The first thing I had to do in order to create this video was I had to come up with something interesting to share that only I could share, something unique to my experience. Then I had to find a way to shape that into a topic that people would search for on YouTube. And this is what you got. How to make YouTube videos, basically. Now, it doesn't matter at all what topic you choose for your first handful of videos. Remember, they're not going to be good, and nobody is going to see them anyways. There are a million videos about how to make YouTube videos. Believe me, I know, because I've watched them all. My video isn't going to stand a chance at getting any views or stacking up against all the competition, especially being on a brand new channel that nobody knows about. That's okay, because I really just needed to get started. I'm learning. Every video I do, I'm going to get better and better and better. So remember that. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't care about this video. I spent days working on this thing. The only way you can get good at something is by working hard at it and caring about the input. At the same time, you have to remember to let it be what it's going to be and just do your best and focus on learning, focus on the process. Once I settled on a topic to cover, it was time to jump into the planning process. If I were to just jump in and start recording, it wouldn't be pretty. I'd be all over the place and my video would end up being 2 hours long. The only chance I had to make a decent video here was to plan it out carefully and map out every detail before I turned on the camera. I actually used FigJam, which is a super popular digital whiteboard canvas tool. I'm a very visual person, so being able to map out the video in a way that was visual was super helpful for me. And this isn't something that I've really seen anyone talk about or do, so I think that's kind of cool too. I put a public link in the description to my actual Figma board that I used to create this exact video. So definitely check that out. I think you'll find that interesting. When all said and done, my entire video is completely mapped out word for word in Figma, also playing the role of a script. This gives me a chance to really think through all the various aspects and pieces of my video ahead of time so that I can make sure I get all the footage, all the visual assets, everything that's required to execute my vision. So now I have a topic, all of my content's carefully mapped out and scripted. Now it's time to go get all the media assets. During the planning process, I created punch lists of different assets that I need to go collect. That could be anything from images to specific shots I need to get, other types of footage to bring my vision together. This is the time to go work on all of that. The majority of this work is usually shooting the footage you need for your videos, just like I'm doing right now in front of this camera talking to you. Otherwise, you might be getting like stock images, stock footage, stock sounds, music, or actually designing visuals in Canva or some other design software. For this specific video, I had a massive punch list of distinct assets that I needed to go create and or collect. I like to break the video up by section and focus on completing one section at a time. I also like to break up my punch lists by section. It makes it really easy to understand exactly what I need to get each section to the finish line, each section adding up to kind of complete the overall entire video. I found a really valuable tutorial from Think Media on how to create a good thumbnail with Canva, which is exactly what I did to create my thumbnail for this video. I dropped that link in the description so that you can use it for your video as well. So now I have all my media assets ready to go. It's time to dump them all into my video editing software and start the video editing process. Being the total noob that I am, I really had no idea what I'm doing when it comes to video editing. I'm just trying to keep it simple, trying to make the video as clean as I can. In terms of special effects beyond additional media that will help add to the story, I'm staying away from all the fancy stuff. I can figure out all of that later and slowly add different elements to my toolbox. Now we have a video to upload to YouTube. It took me about 3 days to create this video with all the other work that I had to do for my businesses on the side. I spent 1 day to map everything out. I spent 1 day to get all the media together, and I spent a third day to edit and finalize the video. This is as far as I've gotten in my learning process. I still have a ton to learn, and I'll be posting more videos to help you learn with me. If you're an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. I built and sold multiple companies throughout the last 15 years, and I'm always building. I love building. That's what I do. I'll be posting a wide range of content about whatever it is I'm working on at any given point in time. Right now, that just happens to be learning YouTube. Thanks for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the comments.